Right, let's get the party started. How is everybody today? Slightly disorganised, I have to admit. But then you kind of go to expect that, don't you? So let's just play catch up on my tablet so I can see two people. Oh, one is Ali, I was about to say. Don't be scared. Let me know you're there. Hope you're well, Ali. I've had one of those days where it's all gone a bit crazy. So I'd got as far as a bit of colour organisation last night, thinking, oh, I've got loads of time tomorrow, and then it's all gone a bit crazy, it has to say. Right, To a Wild Rose is a well-used set. It's a photopolymer, so we don't need the sponge sheet on our Stamparatus, and I need, should we go at least 3 plates, I'm going to say. So let's just get that out of the way. So, right. Let's get out. So this fabulous To a Wild Rose has a 3-stage rose and a set of leaves. That's a couple of stages. I'm going to try and remember to use my embossing folders. I haven't managed to pre-emboss anything, so you'll have to bear with. And the leaves I'm going to do in Old Olive and Garden Green. And the flowers, definitely want to use Magenta Madness and Bumblebee. Just can't decide whether to go Highland Heather or Poppy Parade. So, as we have to do a little bit of playing in order to line up the roses, we'll see how the colours come out before we actually make a card. So they're my 2 ones I can't decide. So, scrap piece of paper, my 3 roses. I generally find I can get away with doing the leaves on a block. So we've got, in this set, 2 of the leaves have got stalks and one's an infill. I might go with the one that's more veiny for today. That makes sense. So, veiny leaf on a block, and also this little infill. Because they're photopolymers, I generally find just on a 2-layer that works quite well, but I do find with the flower that we definitely need. So it does come with, oh, I always forget I've got that beautiful shape of label there as well. So the bigger die cuts out the whole rose. We won't do that today. That obviously cuts out the leaf. We have this little edging thing and the bits and pieces. So it comes with a die if you fancy. So I've got my 3 layers. Hi Jeanette. Hope you are well. So let's see. Let's say we're using photopolymer, so we do need the spongy layer. So the sponge, all sorts of things going on here. The spongy layer acts as the kind of rubber would do on a cling stamp, and for lining up purposes, apparently we'll rip 2 off because we're in one of those days. I also have the grid paper, so the grid paper goes on top of there. So I am, for ease, so what I'm going to do is I'm is I set the roses up as if I was making a card base, so that we can position it correctly, because once we've got them on the perspex, that's kind of where they're going to be. So if we consider that, it would probably help if I had a bit of card cut, wouldn't it? But that would indicate some level of organisation, wouldn't it? And I'm definitely not that today. So how's everybody's day been? It's been a lot better weather-wise with me, so hopefully it has with everybody else. So that's going to be the card base that I use, and we've got these lovely greetings. So I kind of want a flower to be set up somewhere in the middle. So I'm going to use this as a marker. So if I put that there. Right, the first one I'm going to place down is the thick outline, because it makes it nice and easy to line everything else up from there. So let's see. So essentially I'm putting the rose down where I want it, and then picking it up with the Stamparatus plate, and we will try Highland Heather. Let's say I had indecisive colour choices. So this gives us a lovely back clear line, and you can see the ink I've got all over the place. Doesn't matter so much with the Stamparatus, it's slightly more forgiving. Then I have, that is my final one. So then all we have to do is work out which way around this goes. There is only one way. On the, just need to look at the pack. There we go. It's that one that I need to match down there. So, sorry if you get a view of the top of my head, which you possibly are. Essentially, I'm just lining that up over the top. And then with any luck, when I pick that up and keep this paper in the same place, try a bit of magenta madness. Play with the colours while we're setting it up. And if my plans worked, you can see how it's added that extra bit of colour within that flower. Love it when a plan comes together. And then we have to match this one, which is slightly harder potentially because it's got less detail on the stamp itself. It kind of colours in the bits that are missing. So what we have is this sort of kick. So you'll have something that's fairly distinctive on any stamp set that you can line up to make sure that you've got. So for me it's this little petal here. There's a kind of a kick. So again, making sure that paper's in exactly the same position. Move that across, pick it up. Let's see how our bumblebee looks. Oh, that's a juicier pad for sure. Let's see how that's bubbled more. It's a newer ink pad perhaps than the others. colours, or a less well used one, perhaps I would say. So, as if by magic, ta-da! So then essentially we can play I've got a pedicure booked tomorrow. Yeah, they aren't allowed to work on our faces yet, are they? We can't have facial treatments, but they can go near our feet. So yes, on that basis, as I couldn't get my eyebrows done, I went with having a pedicure. Which they always find highly amusing at the salon, that they think I'm their only client that can, I can have a lash lift, which is essentially, to all intents and purposes, it smells like they're putting perm lotion on my eyelashes and holding them back. I can have a lash lift and dye and just a bit of water there, and my eyebrows done, and I can fall asleep. It's a talent. So yes, I'm famous for falling asleep, so I've just cleaned that off because I might... So the joy of this, once it's set up, I can play with any colour combination I want. So we know how the Magenta Madness and the Bumblebee come out. Of course, if we do it in a different order, it would also come out differently. So let us place this. Actually, what I'll do is underneath our Stamparatus, we have our magnets. So in order to ensure this piece of card stays in the same place, just going to pop that magnet on there. So again, I'm going to do the outline first. So back to my... I'm going to try it in Poppy Parade this time. So outline, so with the Stamparatus, it doesn't matter. I mean, don't deliberately put ink all over your Stamparatus plate, but it won't come off when you're using a Stamparatus. So they are absolutely brilliant for beginner crafters, but they're also excellent when you've got these multi-layered stamps, because you're not guessing where you're supposed to put the stamps. I'm going to try Bumblebee on this next one. So it's all about playing with the colours, and I will also show you doing it in one colour. So do you want me to do the whole thing in Magenta Madness? So basically pink, purple, red or yellow. Let's just keep it simple. Let's not make you remember all my Stampin' Up colours. During blow dry. Now that's a talent. I'm impressed with that one, Ali. I'm not sure I could drop off during a blow dry. I have a snooze in between when I have my colours put on, etc. Although actually, as I'm not colouring my hair, I won't get my little sleep, will I? But it's like when you have a massage. To me, it's like an excuse to have a little snooze. I love it. Thank you for remembering my correct colour name as well. So there you go. How different does that rose then look? I think I've missed a bit. So the other thing with Stamparatus is, I don't know if you can see, I'm slightly pale around that side for some reason. So we just go back in and it will stamp. Oh, I don't even need that excuse, Ali, to be dozing off. It just happens. It's just like... So, for that rose, I've used the Bumblebee and the Magenta Madness, the same as I did the last time, but can you see how different the colour is when we've used it in different parts of it? So it's definitely a stamp to play around with. What I need is another bit of card. Then we'll create the roses and then we'll do the bits and pieces around. So that's one with more of the pinks. I'm going to place that, I'm just going to do it slightly, I'm going to bring it down ever so slightly. So essentially, in order to change the position of where the rose is on the card, you've got to move the card and not your stamps. So again, because I'm going to change colours, I'm going to clean these off. So I just take my chamois to the plate. Now, it's one of these things I love about a layered stamp is you can change the colours by layering them up differently. Magenta Madness is definitely a fave of mine at the moment. So let's just make sure my plates are dry. Wet everything, so I've put a new card in and we're going with Bumblebee. And the other thing as well is, although I generally use the outline first, because I've got them stamped up on the Stamparatus, let's do the more solid one first and do it in reverse. So you can layer it up exactly as you want to do. So it's not a biggie if you muddle them up. But you can see how easy it is if you had multiple cards to make. How easy, once you're set up on the Stamparatus, you can just literally ping along. Oh, sorry, I've got the lamp in the way. Try not to knock my lamp flying. If I knock my lamp flying, you'll go flying with it. And you won't like that. So, as I say, you can get to this stage. This will probably give us quite a dark rose. Why don't you just do it with you? Do it like that, Marie. But you could do all the roses, then we can then focus on doing all the leaves and the greetings and anything else you want to do. So that's doing it in reverse, but because we've got it all lined up, it's going to be perfect every time, no matter what you do. That's a nice deep yellow in a rose. So let's now get that out of the way. So that just shows you very quickly how I have created 2 layered flowers. Quite simply and easily. So once you've got it all lined up, do lots, and thus far we are relatively uninky. Hey! So just looking at my greetings, what we're going to use. Blessed to be your friend, blessed and grateful to know you. Got a little hello. I feel like blessed is going to have to be in there somewhere. Oh, there it is. How blessed to know you. Blessed to be your friend, blessed to know you. Right, make a decision as to whether I'm using blessed to be your friends or whether I'm blessed to know you. While I sort some leaves out. So, within my box. So the only thing that I want to do, and why I have these little masks, so these are masks that I've made previously, but what we can do is, because we don't necessarily want the leaf going over it, we want that leaf to appear like it's coming from behind, so I'm going to stamp them in garden green and then fill in with old olive. By putting that mask over, when I put my garden green leaf on, and I might do a couple, I think we'll have, what to do about there? Sorry, I'll probably get in the top of my head again. And I'm going to do another one there. So by having that mask there, we're not stamping on the flower itself, and then the flower appears to come from behind. But obviously I need the mask there for the infill as well, so I don't take it off and then go, oh yeah, and then infill it and mess it all up. So again, these are post-it notes with the rose just cut out, and you can then, I generally just keep them in the box, as you could see. Then whenever I need them, eventually post-it notes do tend to lose their tackiness, so at some point you might need some new ones, but it's a nice easy way. Then I'm thinking blessed can go up there, and the to know you ought to be my friend. Oh, we could do one of each, couldn't we? Could be down there. That works quite well, doesn't it? And then I've got the card base is cut at 10.5 by the size of a card base, so I'm going to cut that anyway. So that's the only bit that I need to remember, because I wanted to see what colours I was going to do before I cut the layers. So in order to do the infill, and again you could, ooh, mouse problems. Oh, I could tell you a story about a mouse. If Nicola's still on, Nicola knows this story. So let me just, I need to concentrate a minute. So essentially, because this is a photopolymer stamp, I can see through the stamp as I go down onto my already stamped image, so it creates that infill. So you could do that using the Stamparatus, but you don't have to. It just depends on your preference, but I find it's relatively easy to drop down without it. Take the mask away. Oh, the leaves come out from the bottom of our rose. So you don't do your leaves first and then the rose. You do your rose and then your leaves. So yes, before I got married, we had a little mouse that used to come visit me, and to this day I'm still not entirely sure where he was living, but he used to come and visit me in the office. So he was obviously based somewhere, whether he was living in the roof, but anyway, he used to come and see me, and David would not believe me that there was a mouse until I managed to get a photograph of him one day. Anyway, we're going down to Devon pre our wedding, and just because I like to be a bit organised, I like to start packing nice and early. I don't like to leave the packing till late, unlike David that likes to do it 2 minutes before we leave. So I had my packing in the office, and only you can imagine where that story is going. Are you getting the picture yet? So I pack my suitcase up, I go all the way down to Devon to our beautiful hotel where we were getting married. We were having our tasting. And then I went to unpack when we arrived. And guess who travelled down to Devon with us? Our little mouse. But we did confess to the hotel that we'd bought it with us. So they went, right, off you go to the bar, have your dinner, we'll sort it. They were running around the room trying to find the mouse. So just find it while you're at home, Jill, not when you've taken it anywhere. Because it was highly embarrassing, I have to say. It was, yeah, it was definitely better. David was horrified. But I've got a photo of him somewhere sitting on top of my suitcase in the hotel room with the lid up. He was along the kind of top edge. And then, yeah, off he went. Went running around the blooming hotel bedroom. So I think if we've got the bumblebee, we absolutely have to use a bumblebee background. Although, do you know what would look rather nice? As I've got some handy. I'm not sure these are the right size, but we'll have a look. How about doing old olive and bumblebee? That's nice. So yes, but alas, poor mouse didn't make his life was curtailed at that point. His life didn't go on any longer. But yes, it's so at our wedding I got everybody sugar mice because everybody knew about it. And when we turned up down there to get married, they were like, you haven't brought any mice with you this time, have you? No. God, isn't old olive just a fantastic colour that goes with so many things? Oh, I've got stuff going everywhere here. So I wanted to make those kind of layers up before I stamp the greetings, because I don't mind if the rose pet leaves get cut a bit in order to get the layers right, but I do mind if my greeting disappears. So I don't everything everywhere again. So my card base, when we choose one, will be 10.5 by 14.9, as you know. So I'm then taking a ½ centimetre off that measurement for the Magenta Madness layer. Then another ½ centimetre to make my old olive layer. So it's always just remembering that. So whether you remember ½ centimetres or whether you remember, it depends how many mats you're doing, how many layers you're doing, really as to how you easily do it. But I generally take a ½ centimetre. I just find gives a nice layer. Sometimes will do more. I'm going to take more off. No, actually I'm not. So where had I got to? So you're chatting away, forgetting my measurements already. Telling you. So I've got to 14.9, so we're 13.5. So it's a centimetre that needs to come off. So I'm going to do 3/4 of it, or kind of 3/4 of it off the bottom, because the blessed is bigger than my other little thing. So what did I say then? It's very difficult to talk and cut. I need to focus, otherwise we'll get it horribly wrong, won't we? Now I've got a beautiful rose in the middle. I don't want to ruin my... That rather looks like I managed to get a bit of green on there for some reason. So this eventually will be... So this needs to be 9. So it currently is 10. So I'm going to take a ½ centimetre off each side. So we just lose a little bit of that leaf, but that's fine. So I'm measuring the ½ centimetre on the right hand side of mine. So then we go onto there, and obviously, you know, the rose itself is simply stamped. I'm adding to it by using the layers. There, you don't have to if you don't want to. You could keep it really much simpler if you wanted to. So I don't think this bit is big enough. Ooh, might try. Let's go taking a full centimetre off on this layer. Watch me confuse myself now. So we've taken that, and then we're going to take a ½ centimetre off of this layer. So we're keeping it relatively simple, and we're working in centimetres and ½ centimetres. Oh, is that way I'm doing you, Nana? So we went 13.9, so we're going 13.5. And I generally do work in centimetres. If you work in inches, then you'll have your own measurements. Then obviously get your layers the right way around. I think I need to change my blade on my... So then I'm going to do a ½. So it'll be 8. No, that is 8. And that is 9. 9 by, so I'm 13.9, which again I'm going to take just a little bit off the bottom, and off the top. That blessed is bigger, so hopefully I've remembered all my measurements right now. Now, because this is slightly further over, I'm going to cut the 8.5 all from, or maybe not quite, we'll take most of it off one side. Yeah, I think we generally have we all have our own preferences, don't we? But yeah, mine is definitely, although to be fair, I'm a bit useless with inches. I think I grew up in that awkward time where we were using both. I don't quite know why I'm a bit useless at inches, but anyway. So there we go, there's our layers. So now we can position the greetings in the right place that they work with the cards. So we're definitely having, if I just take that off a block for a minute, definitely having blessed, which lends itself to that top corner, and then to be your friend could be kind of, that could even come might do that a little bit more central, and then this slightly off. That's the way to do it, I think. So that's going to be central, relatively close. Actually, the blessed is in the same colour as the rose, but I might do that the same colour as I might use the old olive for... So many choices, 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 choices. You could do this, you could have done it the other way around so that the old olive was closer to the rose and the bumblebee was further down, but that's the joy of these things, isn't it? Oh, might try that the other way around on this one. So we'll just starting to pay attention to messy fingers here. So the blessed I'm going to do in the old olive, and let's see how that looks. Oh, I feel like I've come out quite organised considering I was so disorganised to start with. Running around like a flea in a fit. So that looks slightly pink because of the colouring of that, but it isn't. So I'm going to do that. I'll do it central again. So let's put the old olive at the top. Might use the same greeting, and then we will do the To Be Your Friend in Magenta Madness, which is the kind of predominant colour from that one. If you remember, we popped some bumblebee on there as well. That's going to then come down there. It's rather nice either way, isn't it? Then we just have to put our layers together. Put all the inks away first so that we don't get into a right pickle. And we have an assortment of things, and it's just a case of layering it up. And then what I'm still trying, Jenny, just try and pull it towards me. Works a lot better when you do. I was pulling it at a very odd angle before, wasn't I? So I'm going to pop that in the centre of the old olive. Another layer of sea. It's doing so well. Basically, move the paper, not your for some reason it, you know, a bit cack-handed, but oh, upside down, doesn't matter, but it's not good on the card base just yet. And I think this just on a simple white card, because I used a white base, I didn't use a shimmery white for a change. Oh, it's all going on in the street. Sorry, I was just thinking someone's driving in my driveway, but multiple multiple people were trying to pass the house. I dig a little stamp set out every so often that I haven't used for a little bit. I don't remember how fantastic all our sets are. So I've got a right collection, I know, but I've got to start planning August and my Facebook Lives, because my hours aren't changing at work, so we can still manage to get a bit in. So on a simple white card base, how lovely are they? And I think I might slightly prefer the colours kind of the reverse, but I definitely think we need some embellishment. So let's have a look what we have. Oh, I know what we've got. Don't even need to think about that one, do I? Let us focus on Let's get some bumblebee. I feel like there needs to be one there. One up there. You need to do odd as well. You have to. So definitely with these, these enamel dots, you need to fold that plastic backing back well. Oh dear. And then we've got Magenta Madness as well. Fabulous. So there we go. So hopefully that's shown you some what the Stamparatus is all about, and layering up for the Stamparatus. The ability to do multiple cards. Oh, I feel like that's going to be a triangle. Well, it's going to be a triangle whatever I do, but not too equilateral. I think that maybe should have been off a bit. But anyway, I don't think we'll try and move it now. I think it'd be no, don't move it now. So there we go. I can put the bumblebee over my bumblebee strip, and then the Magenta Madness over my Magenta Madness strip. So the multicoloured sheets seem to have gone down quite well. I don't think it confused anybody in my crafting, so that's good. So yeah, Bumblebee and Magenta Madness using To a Wild Rose and the Stamparatus. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for One Sheet Wonder. Don't forget to vote for A, B or C on the colour thing as to what your colour preference is. I think A is winning at the moment, and I look forward to seeing you at 6 o'clock tomorrow. So take care, stay safe.